Hello, everyone. We are back after a bit of a vacation, so to speak. Um, Unity, how was your
Yeah,
travels?
it's uh, it's one of those. I don't really have much feelings about it. Oh yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, yeah, and you can see we're on a different channel now. We're streaming on Unity's channel, and that's going to be something that we're going to try out for some time to see how this goes. Just a bit of an update. We're going to have the videos on Unity's channel for these live streams, and then you can also find these videos the next day on another Reviews Corp podcast, which we have now, this ticker at the bottom. So just a quick reminder to subscribe to that channel so that we can, hopefully improve moving forward. So yeah. And what are we talking about this
Yay!
this week?
Uh, the best Star Wars show ever. Clap.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So we're going to be talking about the Acolyte, um, the new Disney Star Wars show. There's plenty of discourse about it. Uh, Depending on what perspective you go about it.
Yeah.
It's pretty much typical Star Wars talk, if we're being honest.
To be
Um,
honest, it's basically just what we expected from Disney Star Wars. If I'm being honest.
yeah, it's created by Leslie Headland. It's set about it's about the end of the High Republic era, before
Like
the
one
Skywalker saga.
100 years before the rise of the Empire, which is like what 80 years before the Phantom Menace, 87 years.
No, this is 100 years before Phantom Menace.
It's actually it's in the opening title crawl said it's 100 years before the rise of the Empire.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, we have actually. This is the new feature that we're gonna do. Pull up the episode.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, 100 years before the rise of the Empire. Okay. Oh yeah, then that's in. Okay, then the description in the premise description is incorrect then, because it says there that it was meant to be set 100 years before the first film, but it's not if we're going based on the rise of the empire. So that's an oopsie. So
Yay. It
I
is.
guess we'll have to treat it that way. Mm,
It's
it's kind
this
of
is
like, I think it would be 80 years then, right?
80 years, probably. It's like
Yeah, because
87
like
years.
Luke is 19. Well, no. Wait,
Yeah,
that's episode 4.
it's actually it's like the time gap between Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones is 10 years.
Right.
Yeah, Revenge of the Sith and
3 years
Attack of the
after.
Clones, it's yeah, 3 years, so
Yeah,
13
so
years.
Anakin is about 21 at that point.
Yeah, isn't that good? Fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, how did they get that shit wrong?
Yeah. As honestly, it's like it could be fine if that was like the intention. It was meant to be before the Empire, but I think like if you're advertising the show, then you probably got it wrong. Like if you're trying to say it's set 100 years before the first film, but then you're saying your point of view is the 100 years before the Empire, then yeah, those are two different timelines. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess it's just like a premise is not really canon per se. Whatever's in the show would be the more canon thing. So, yeah,
Uh,
it just because there's been a lot of comments from from the director and a lot of contradictions.
Pretty much. Actually, if you go by it, everything Leslie Helen said, it's so bullshit. I don't even know what to say about those.
Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, for our audio listeners, we also have a Spotify, another Reviews Corp podcast. Um, so there's some text on the screen, so just to read it out for them. 100 years before the rise of the Empire, it is a time of peace. The Jedi Order and the Galactic Republic have prospered for centuries without war.
Mm.
All right.
Yay. That
But
is what they
But in the
say.
dark corners of the galaxy, a powerful few learn to use the Force in secret. All right.
Yep.
One of them, a lone assassin, risks discovery to seek revenge. I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
So
We're
gonna
gonna
get to that.
So what'd you
Yeah,
think about this intro?
Meaningless. This
Well,
doesn't tell me anything.
yeah, it's all right
Yeah, it's like,
for
hey,
what it has to say.
it's just like, yeah, I get it. I seen the prequels. Sure.
Yeah. Honestly, they should have just said like, if they wanted to do 100 years before the first film, then you could have just said 100 years before before Anakin was in the, you know, the Jedi fold. But I mean, I guess they didn't want to mention Anakin's name, which I guess is fair. But yeah, it's just incorrect information. But we talked about that.
I mean, they could just say 100 years before the what's it? Palpatine is elected as Senate.
Before, yeah, something like that. So, you know, so how would you describe the Acolyte before we, like the plot for it? Somebody who doesn't know what it's about.
So the marketing said it's about a mystery show about who killed the Jedi.
Yeah, it's not that at all.
Yep, it's
Which
about.
honestly is it's okay, but like but you're really not. Yeah, you're not like really. If you're getting your premise wrong on what material is going on, then it's like now I just feel like you didn't watch your own product.
Yeah, I mean the marketing. Only lasts for like what, one episode.
There was no mystery. We already knew who killed the Jedi, so yeah, there is no mystery.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like, hey, it's like, okay, it's about the Jedi try to save other Jedi, but but there's other Sith trying to kill other Jedi. Actually, it's so convoluted, and yet it's so simple. Not in a good way.
So basically, there's a girl who is known as the Acolyte. She is killing 4 particular Jedi for a reason of her own that we'll talk about. And it turns out that she has a twin sister, both played by Amanda Stenberg. And basically, you have like there's this whole thing as to why this particular twin is evil and the other one is the good one. And so that's basically what they're going through in terms of that setup. There's a reason why she's killing these 4 particular Jedi. Now the method as to how we're killing the Jedi is a little bit questionable, but we'll get to that. But yeah, that's essentially kind of the summary. So yeah, we start off with on Ueda. There is one Jedi, played by Carrie Ann Moss, which I figured this was going to happen because you can't get Trinity and have her there for too long. So of course she's the first one to go.
Which is like what forced marketing, because they literally just market the shit out of Trinity.
Which is funny because like all the shots are in the same location, so you can tell like, okay, she's only in this one scene. Every time you see her face, it's in one background, right? Like you see this shot, you see her with the lightsaber. Yeah. So yeah. Okay, so would you like to kind of summarize this scene?
This scene. This assassin wants to kill the Jedi, and she does it in a bar. For some reason, the assassin decided to kill her in broad daylight, assault a bunch of people, even though she's supposed to be a tragic figure. And the Jedi just try to fight her with her bare hands.
Yeah, but then we learn why. That's just her task to kill Jedi without a weapon. It's like at that point, it's like so she uses like triangle stars.
It's cool knives,
like knives essentially. So
yeah, so
it's still a weapon.
So it's like she said. So this assassin is supposed to be like, oh, I don't want to kill innocents, so let me beat a bunch of innocent people who is basically just drinking with the Jedi, who is not even attacking her. We're just like, okay, you're just an asshole. That's how I describe this. It's like you can see that those people doesn't really do anything.
Well, I mean, I guess that kind of goes back to if you're going in the sequential order. We didn't know at this point that she's supposed to be a tragic figure. To be fair, right?
I mean, and that's the thing. They can't decide what they want to do with May or the assassin. I was like, she constantly flip flop between being tragic and being just bloodthirsty. It's like,
yeah.
It's like like Billy Butcher from The Boys. Just like the writer could not decide that do they want him to be a tragic figure, or does he want him to be like a maniac?
Well, that's the problem with The Boys in general. There's no nuance. It's not supposed to exist. To be fair.
Yeah. So same as this show. It's like this is the thing with Disney Star Wars. Most of the time they could not decide what they want to do with the characters.
So for me, the Acolyte, I remember when they first announced this back in the Disney Celebration, they talked about a Sith-centric show. And honestly, like, and that kind of had like a lot of interest for people, like finally focus on the Sith. But then here it is, and it's not really that at all. I mean, you kind of technically have something related to the Sith, but but like first off, our character Amandla isn't even a Sith. She's an acolyte. She works for somebody who is in the Sith, which we'll get to. But even then, like she's not really the focus of the story. It's Osha, her twin sister, the good one. So it's like I guess it's like just speaking from a marketing perspective is like, man, this idea that people had like with a Sith-centric show, that seems kind of interesting. Like that seems different from the Star Wars material that we get. And then really this story is about the Jedi dealing with a, I mean, it goes back to like, it goes back to like how we don't really, I guess they don't have confidence in making a show that's strictly in the point of view of a villain. And I guess I get why, but that kind of you could have shown some creativity.
I mean, here's the thing. You've seen Andor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Dedra is a villain. and they spend a lot of the show focusing on the villain who works for the Empire. Also, Serial, who also works for the Empire. It's not like just like, oh fuck, I'm gonna change sides with the Republic. No, they literally stay with the Empire, and they give a lot of time and focus on them, and just like and for us to understand how the Empire works. So they could actually focus on the villains in the Acolytes, but they did not.
No, they don't even try to do it really.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that.
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
I see we're covering Twitter's favorite TV show. Yeah, Twitter has been really, honestly, like, if I were to be really transparent, I find like a lot of the discourse, whether you like it or not like it, really annoying on Twitter personally, because like, man, it feels like it's like the end of the world every time we talk about the Acolyte. Like, it's pretty ridiculous to me, but it's not really a criticism on the show or like people in general. It's just, I guess it's just based on my algorithm on Twitter. But yeah, I watched the first 3 episodes last night with a friend, and we checked out very early into the first. Yeah. The thing for me is like the first episode is like, honestly, it's kind of whatever. Like,
I mean,
as we're talking about, like May's like whole dynamic here, it could be fine. I mean, you said she specifically said I don't want to attack the innocents. Is that really a line?
yeah, no, it's like it's like at the end of the fight, she wants to kill the person who didn't do anything to her, but she
Well,
only stops because she sees there's a kid. She has a kid, so
oh, you mean at the end of the fight? Okay.
yeah.
I thought you meant like when like the whole. And you see, like, so she's done this a lot too. It's like she has like this, like she's always trying to grab the lightsaber. This isn't the
Yeah.
first time that happened.
Yeah, it's like it's like okay, and the other thing is, why do you use knives? Shouldn't you use like better weapons? You know, a gun or like a bounty hunter equipments.
Yeah, then that goes back to the no weapons rule.
Yeah, but I mean,
But
she's
then the
using
knife
weapons.
the knife is a weapon.
And the other thing is, why is Endara using hand to hand? Just use a lightsaber, or fuck it, just hold her down with the Force immediately.
I will say though, the show is the funniest parody I've ever seen. Definitely a good thing it isn't canon, because there's no way a parody would qualify it.
We haven't even finished the show yet.
Yeah, the show's not over yet.
Yep. I mean, the next episode is gonna happen in like an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of do respect like how she isn't using a lightsaber here, because like it would be stupid, kind of. Well, it would make it more stupid, I guess. Because like honestly, do you need a lightsaber for any of this? Though I will be I will be like, on a serious note though, like,
use the Force.
This film, this show uses a lot of hand-to-hand combat. I mean, it's not like Jedi have never done it before, but like, I don't know, like when you see like Obi-Wan try to punch Jango Fett, which is kind of dumb because like Jango Fett has like a whole armor of Beskar now that we know that. So it's like it's kind of silly to try and punch someone with a metal suit. But like at the same time, you can tell that Obi-Wan is not like a scrapper or anything like that. So here, the Jedi just do a lot of like hand-to-hand combat, more than I expected at least. So
yeah, to be honest,
I guess I don't know if it's because of the Acolyte being the character who is relying on not using a weapon. So we just need to make all the Jedi not use weapons so they can justify why this fight is going longer than it should be.
Yeah.
But then we also learned that the Acolyte also has the Force. So
yeah, it's like, to be honest, here's the thing about Jedi, it's like they have the Force. They could just stop anyone just attacking them with the Force. So just hold them in the air. or just force push them, or just mind control them.
Because I remember, like in video games, like they're actually, I believe in some video games, like if you try to use the Force on a Force user, it won't work because they both are able to break out of it.
Yeah,
But then the problem is like the show uses a lot of Force user holding the Force on other Force users, and there's no restrictions on that. So, I mean, to be fair, I feel like that's like that might be like a previous canon that I can't really decipher out. So it's not really. I mean, I guess there's that, but yeah.
I mean, the only exception it's like, I mean, it's in Revenge of the Sith, like, you know, the Yoda versus the Palpatine fights. I mean, also Count Dooku lifted like Obi-Wan in also Revenge of the Sith. So to be honest,
yeah, I think it's a specific rule. I'm not like a specific context. I'm not too well versed in the Star Wars games to know exactly the rule on it.
But to be fair, if someone could just do that, you'll expect them to do that a lot more. And it's like Indara is like what Indara is a Jedi Master, and it's like what May is just 17 years old. So by that logic, Indara should have stronger force powers than May.
Yeah, but then we also find out where her force is coming from, which we'll also get to.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, so that's with everything we have, the question beckons, is this worse than The Last Jedi or whatever else? I don't think this is the worst show. I find Kenobi more irritating, but it is still not done yet, so I can't really comment on that part.
Yeah, it's like
so far for me, it's not the worst show.
I won't judge it yet. So
yeah,
it's like it's like Ahsoka and Obi-Wan Kenobi are just like really bottom of the barrel shows.
The problem with like I don't know if it's because like Ahsoka and Kenobi are using characters that we know, so it's like it's a lot. I guess it's more easy. It's easier to really criticize something when the characters that you know from the past are mishandled very badly.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen Rebels.
It could be that.
Yeah, I've seen Rebels. Some people doesn't even watch Rebels before they watch Ahsoka. By the way, yeah, I've seen Rebels, and I think it. If you've seen Rebels, it's way worse than when you don't even know Rebels.
Yeah. But I guess for Stai's other question, do you think it's worse than The Last Jedi?
Fuck.
I mean, Rise of Skywalker is worse than Last Jedi.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, but Last Jedi is kind of unique in the sense like Rise of Skywalker was made as a response to Last Jedi. So that's what I feel. That's why I feel like it makes it worse because like it wants to retroactively retcon things that people didn't like about The Last Jedi and then do that to quote unquote fix it. But I think that's what makes it worse. So that, Rise of Skywalker is definitely worse than The Last Jedi for me.
The Last Jedi is such a unique concept because like some people hate it and some people loved it to the point they take it as inspiration from their own show. Yes, that's absolutely a reference to Russell T Davies' Doctor Who.
Yeah, we're gonna cover that season.
Oh yeah, fuck someday. That shit. Hey, do you know that? Do you know Russell T Davies said? Actually, I really like that movie. I forgot the name about. It's like the one that makes the main character a nobody. But unfortunately, the next movie retcons it. Damn. So, yay! We got a series inspired by Last Jedi.
I couldn't blame anyone for saying any specific one of the videos are worst or the trilogy. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it's but to be honest, if someone said I'm gonna take the inspiration from one of the sequels, I was like, okay, fuck off. Blacklist you forever.
Yeah. And then we'll talk about Doctor Who. We definitely want to talk about that someday.
Oh yeah,
but yeah.
By the way, I rewatched like the first 3 episodes of I rewatched the first 3 episodes of Series 14. I'm not gonna say season 1. Fuck that shit. Series 14, first 3 episodes. It's they're good elements, but unfortunately, the plot is quite crap for all 3 of them.
Yeah. So yeah, back to this excellent fight scene.
Yeah. By the way, so
Uh-huh.
Indara is just slowly walking to her instead of just like, okay, stop her immediately, because there are innocent people here.
Yeah.
Uh, uh,
Sorry about that. The video and the comments always get overshadowed, so I gotta go back and forth. I also hate the current talk about inspired by X Breaking Bad seems to be getting a lot of people's claim things are inspired at crap. Yeah, I agree.
yeah.
Unity and
Oh,
I
yeah.
had that kind of debate as well. It makes
By the
sense
way,
from a pitch, from a pitch perspective. Like, well, if you want to give a pitch to somebody, then it kind of makes sense to, oh, it's kind of like this. I was saying particularly that I feel like what I would do is like maybe if I bring up a reference, but I want to say what makes me different from that thing. But for a lot of people now it's like, oh, it's the Game of Thrones of this, for example. And I was like, okay, I mean, I guess, but like, how are you different from Game of Thrones? I kind of want to know that, but yeah.
Yeah. By the way, the Acolyte is inspired by Breaking Bad, set by Leslie Hadland. This very scene is inspired by Breaking Bad. Fuck.
This is a good joke. It's not Breaking Bad. It was Breaking Brad. Remember, we covered Loki season 2. I still can't believe that was the title of the
episode. Hey, don't you love Breaking Bad? Yeah, I'd rather rewatch Breaking Bad than this shit.
Yeah. So yeah, this fight is very low, as you can see. Like, just there's nothing really happening. Just a bunch of punches and like bobbing and weaving and things like that. I mean, occasionally there's like a person in the way that gets punched, but then outside of that, it's just really tame. It's not a. All right, isn't Ring of Power? Well, Rings of Power also inspired by Breaking Bad. I don't know. I don't know how, but
yeah, because we love Breaking Bad. So inspired by Breaking Bad, please. I mean, I'll say this: there are certainly worse things you can take inspiration from.
Yeah. So I mean, the key moment, of course, is basically when, because like she has all the power. She has like the knives in her hands. Like dude, like stop fighting. Like, and then opens the mask and they realize that this is not. It's then you do the hair thing, which shows that it's not her. It's the twin. So
yeah, which is like, stop talking, just seduce her. Oh yeah.
And the other problem too is like now they talk about the Force to subdue people.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they couldn't do that in episode 2. Soul literally used the Force to hold down, what's it called, May.
Yeah,
it's fucking insane.
No, but like, I mean, like Yord also uses like, "Don't make me subdue you" with the Force, like that kind of thing. So you can make somebody unconscious with the Force.
Yeah, and also or mind control. So.
Yeah, so even more knives.
And that's not how knives. That's not how it works. It's like, do you remember like Deadpool 2 when Deadpool cut all the bullets still like went straight into him.
Yeah, so we got our lightsaber. It's not going to be the last one, of course. Then May does the bamboozle by throwing the knife at a civilian. And then which gets Andara to stop it with the Force, but then
question: why is this guy here?
Convenience.
Yay.
I guess maybe the bartender wants to die with his building, which I guess.
The captain will sink with his ship. Fuck me, I don't know.
Yeah, so that was the way to get Undar distracted so that she dies to a regular knife.
I mean, to be honest, she could just stop her like when she realized her intention, because Jedi can sense feelings or read minds. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, they go really. Yeah, the show has a lot going on in terms of like what a Jedi can do, to the point of like, damn, I'm having such a hard time believing that none of this could be stopped. Like as we've been referencing Soul, we're almost at him, but like, yeah, there's a lot of talk about, dude, I can just read your mind, and all this stuff. And then it's not just that, but like also, the whole mind wipes and things like that. Yeah, it's like when they introduce all these, like, I mean, there's a lot of powers that a Jedi can do. That's fair, but it gets to a point where it's like, okay, your opponent is somebody who's intentionally not using a weapon that is like good enough to like fight somebody like you. So at that point, it's like, and then you go back to, what was a popular example of like where all the Jedi died to people who aren't like Force users or anything like that. Order 66, right, with a bunch of guns, and obviously the clones like overwhelming the Jedi and all that stuff in that sense. So yeah, it's like, but when you have when the Acolyte is the person that has to do this, going to a point of like a bunch of hand-to-hand combat, like it's really just delaying the inevitable. But at the same time, it's like Ondara is just kind of dumb, because like there's so many things you could do to stop this from prolonging.
Yeah.
And like if the whole thing is like a redemption, quote unquote, kind of thing, then maybe there could be some semblance of an idea for that, but there isn't any idea there, because one, she doesn't know the identity, and two, even then it's like, will that really justify everything that's going on? Not really.
No, it's like,
it's a lot of problems with that.
Yeah, she literally just wait for her to just let a bunch of innocent people get beat up, and she just watch it. She just watch her to just beat everyone up. It's like, fuck me, that's a horrible introduction.
Yeah. Then this other part. So yeah, Ondara dies to a knife in the heart, which
pathetic.
Pretty lame. And then the meta reason, you can't afford Carrie Ann Moss for multiple episodes. So
fuck, it's not like the budget is 180 million. Oh wait, it is 180 million.
Yeah, and then we also talked about the he's got a knife at the civilian, the barkeeper, but like, because the barkeeper is a child, she decides to go off. So yeah.
To be honest, that's gonna be fucking stupid when it got to episode 3.
Yeah. Because like for that kind of stuff, it's like, well, we kind of talked about the intro in general, but like that kind of brings us to our next character, so Osha, also played by Amanda Stenberg. So it's like, it's a bit of a confusion for some people. It's like, wait, we just saw her being evil. What is this? She's a Mechie.
Yeah,
like, yeah, Mechie is apparently like, how like sometimes droids go out outside of the ship to do repairs. Becky is just a person doing that. Okay, I guess.
I mean, they try to explain. They say that like, she's cheaper and she's good to talk to. Yeah. It's like, fuck it.
Yeah.
By the way, this friend is never seen again after this scene, so pointless.
Yeah. And it's not like he dies or anything. He's just never shown again.
For some reason, you this is where you kind of expect. So the friend will have some role after this. It's like, oh no, they They're just like, oh, we're friends. Oh, bye.
She just needs somebody to talk to when she's outside. It's not, like, but at that point, just talk to a droid. That kind of gives the same effect. I don't know.
So here it is. So fixing stuff.
Yeah. The worst. Oh, we got
Not separatists. Like what's it called? The Trade
the
Federation.
Numerians. The Numerians, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the Trade Federations.
Yeah. So they do mention that the Trade Federation.
Fuck. So just
I remember
so you
that
know,
from episode
yeah.
1.
And remember context, the Trade Federation hates Jedi, so keep that in mind.
Nemoidians, yeah.
Yep.
Their voices don't sound like. Okay, I guess. Forgive me, Unity, but like their voices don't really sound like their characters from episode 1. But I'm pretty sure because like there's like the stigma about the overly Chinese accent, so it's probably why they toned it down.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
that was just something I noticed when watching.
Yeah, it's not like I'm Asian. I'm Asian, and I do not give a fuck about Chinese representation. Oh wait, I am Asian. Fuck you, Disney.
Yeah. So it sounds like for here that they so he referenced that us like talking to a Jedi. That's because the Jedi actually. Oh yeah. Before that even happens, a fire happens outside in space.
I mean, it's like this is like the bottom of my issues. It's like this doesn't look like fire in space.
It looks like a campfire, but like it really isn't the worst problem in this episode.
It's like this is like even if it's a problem, it's like fuck it. I have a lot more to criticize. Character moment, her family got killed from fire. I will get to that.
Yeah.
So boring.
Yeah, so the fire happens, then the Jedi come in.
Oh fuck! I hate this shit.
So yeah, the Jedi come in and talk to the Nemoidians to like, you have a Jedi on board.
My question is, how do you find OSHA? This is the Trade Federation out there. They hate Jedi, and the Trade Federation is like, we don't have a Jedi on board, which means they didn't say any information of the higher OSHA, who is a former Jedi or Padawan.
Yeah. The only thing I could say is like, I mean, it's not impossible to like. I guess it's like for that specific thing is like I don't think it's impossible to like not mention that, and then if you just don't show any force ability, then it's like they can't really prove it or anything like that. I guess you can kind of do that. I guess my bigger thing is like how did the Jedi find her that easily? Like that's kind of I mean unless like they keep the same name and the Trade Federation puts like the employment status of somebody, and then again it's like some of it also comes down to it's 80 years in the past, so maybe Trade Federation people were better with the Jedi, and then something happened. That's the only leeway I could give.
But then in this scene, the Trade Federation is like, we're it's like there's no one on board. What the fuck are you doing? It's like, so
there's
you clearly do not like
on board, just droids.
Yeah, so it's like they're like, so they clearly don't trust a Jedi already. So
yeah, and then obviously
to be honest, I don't think.
Please don't read my mind. Yeah, that kind of thing. So
fuck. So the Obi-Wan Kenobi shit.
Yep. So yeah. So basically, they just talk about how. So Yord and May are just talking about like how the murder happened to Ondara. They said she was the one who did it. They even brought the barkeeper guy. It's like, yeah, that's the one. She's the one who did it.
What the fuck? Okay, so they said last night someone died. Jedi got killed. Which, if you watch the scene again, that's daytime, you dipshit.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to tell.
Yeah, it's daytime, and second of all, how you found it in her? You found her in a single day. What the fuck?
I'd assume the Trade Federation situation had a lot leading up to it for a decent amount of time.
But
Yeah.
but they say last night a Jedi got killed. Basically means they found Osha in a single day.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they got the guy who can identify her. Just like just bring her on board first.
Well, it's like the thing is like for that is like you have to first have somebody from the Jedi Council to go over to find the body, find the witness, take them all the way to the Trade Federation ship to, and then the conversation being, all right, it happened last night, which is like, what is last night in Star Wars? But yeah, I guess it's a lot. Also, this Padawan does not return so far. Either.
Why?
I've also noticed that as well.
Yeah,
it's weird because like
yeah.
it's probably because Daphne Keene is more recognizable. But at that point, why introduce a second Padawan?
Just have Jackie in this scene.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's one thing I like, but they don't develop that further. It's like Yord and Osha are friends. But Yord is like, even though we're friends, I have to commit to my Jedi duty. It's like, okay, that's something. That's a start. It's like they did nothing.
Like that's kind of my thing too. It's like I'm not like I don't like the show by any means, but like I feel like I was a little bit more positive about it compared to Unity, but like that's fine. It happens. And one of my things is like one of my explanations is like I feel like there is an idea here that could theoretically work. I don't know if that's like a me problem or anything like that, but like because like I feel like with Osha and Yord and like even Jackie Soul, like I feel like they have an idea of a decent dynamic between the characters. Like, yeah, okay, I could see this like working out. Let's just see where it goes from there. And then, then there's like a lot of things about. I guess it comes down to like the whole murder mystery thing not panning out, being a murder mystery. But then again, we kind of had to figure that out since they removed the mask anyway, letting us know that this is a twin sister. So maybe they should have just kept the mask on the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that's basically, and they just ruin the mystery. And by the way, so why didn't you just check the security cameras or just like any like evidence of her leaving the ship to that planet? I mean, they could just ask any crewman.
You mean May?
Yeah, May. I mean, you could just check all the clearances, or just ask everyone in the Trade Federation. It's like, oh, okay, did Osha leave last night? Or fuck it, she has a friend. Yes, she has a friend. Just ask him. It's like.
So yeah, I guess like one of the difficult parts about it is like they're going based off description, which is like even then it's like how you describe one person and immediately that they're describing Osha, like because Yord is her friend. So like I mean, walk with me here. Yord hears the description from the barkeeper that this is what the person looked like. And then something had to click for Yord to realize that this specific person he's talking about has to be May, because like I guess they both have dreads.
I mean, somehow they have the same hairstyles.
Yeah, like things like that. It's like because you clearly didn't know her name.
I mean, the only thing
because the only thing that was like the only thing that they had of thing was like Andara's last words was it's you, like something like that. So it's like so clearly like Andara knows this person. But yeah, it's like but I don't know like what really concluded that this Osha that we're talking about now we need to go find Osha, and now we found Osha the next day on a Trade Federation ship somewhere else in the galaxy. So it's like, and then even that is like, is it even possible to believe that the murder happened where the Trade Federation is, and that can happen, like she can travel between time of last night to now? And I guess so, because they had enough time to bring the barkeeper there. So it's like, I don't know. You kind of shot yourself in the foot when you try to streamline your time frame like that. So it didn't really
And
make sense
and
there.
what's worse is just like you could literally just check that OSHA just leave yesterday. Like there's a lot of eyewitnesses. There's like security checks, security cameras. There's a lot of things to check about. It's like they just like, oh yeah, it's OSHA. Arrest her. Oh, that was quick and stupid.
Yeah, then it also comes down to like, I guess May just has the same hairstyle as OSHA after all these years. We'll explain why we keep saying that. It's not recently. This is 10 years later. But yeah. Yeah, so, basically OSHA gets arrested. And they even say... So,
Coruscant.
Yeah,
Yeah, we know
Coruscant.
We know what the fuck is that.
Yeah, Soul is teaching a bunch of younglings.
We're just like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
It's all fine. Yeah, then, he's being debriefed about this thing that happened. It turns out it was OSHA who was the killer of Andara. Soul doesn't believe that, but he is kind of like tasked to go see about that.
So they say we arrested OSHA. It's like, and she has more attachment to her. It's like, okay.
Yep.
Which is and it's, to be honest, it's like, fuck. The actor is doing. This is the best actor. This is the person who acted the best in the show, by the way.
I think Lee mentioned that he had to learn English for this role.
Yeah, and trust me,
he's from Squid Games.
Yeah, he's like the best actor here. I mean, at least the best actor person here. It's like it's not even contest.
I guess like for me, I don't think he's like the thing about for me when it comes to Star Wars acting is like I don't think anybody in Star Wars acting is like phenomenal kind of actors like that kind of thing. Like I feel like a lot of it is kind of the same. Some of them might be better than others, but like I don't feel like Star Wars acting is like something where I expect an Oscar-worthy performance or anything like that.
No,
because like I feel like the scenes with him, Amandla, even I think Yord and Daphne are pretty good as well. Like, but like in the sense of like, they're fine. They're interacting, and I believe it. I know the green alien lady is not very good. I can tell about that. But yeah, I mean,
it's basically just like, okay, who is here for a paycheck? Who is here to just who actually cares about it? It's like, fuck. I was like, okay, I can tell that this actor cares the most. When it comes to it's like at least he's the best when it comes to emoting. It's like, fuck. It's like, I mean, unless it's like Andor, I don't think I'll find great acting in Star Wars. I mean,
I think Andor is the best example. In terms of any like a lot of them really, but like for Star Wars in general, it's like for the most part, I don't expect like the most impressive acting. Like I just expect like passable. You read the lines. Characters are being people essentially.
Yeah, but to be and some are just shit.
Yeah,
the entire. I mean, it's like even Obi-Wan acting. It's like okay, Obi-Wan acting is like fine to good. It's like Ahsoka is like it's like some are okay. Some are it's like one or two. It's like really good or just good, and most of them are just like bland as hell. Like, what? Like it's like please. It's like. Here's the thing, I've seen Rebels, and when I saw Ahsoka, it's like, okay, you guys didn't act anything like the Rebels counterparts.
Yeah, I mean, and then there's this whole thing about like, well, they're not. Well, it's like, what can you do when the character's supposed to be stoic, in that kind of sense, where they have to hone their emotions or something like that? Because that's kind of the principle of like Jedi's as well. So that is like, I mean, I remember. In the prequels, they kind of had that conversation as well. It's like it's kind of sometimes it's like it can be difficult to really know what is it to hone in or like what is it to do it when you're supposed to not show emotion or that kind of sense. So sometimes I could see a challenge for that for some actors. I mean, but then again, I think Christopher Lee did a great job with what he was given
Yeah, it's
as
like,
Count Dooku.
and then you just like realize it's like, oh fuck, what they got for Ahsoka? And it's like it's not even someone who can't act. It's literally Rosario Dawson. It's like, dude, she can act her heart out. What the fuck, man? It's like all she did is like all she does in Star Wars is just fold her arms and just take a deep breath.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like my other thing too is like I could feel like some of it is like being stoic as well, or it's like it's a little difficult to explain because Star Wars. I feel like Star Wars characters in general are. I don't really expect too much when it comes to the Jedi or Sith. I mean, Sith are definitely more emotive than Jedi characters typically, so there's that. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of a long-winded way of my perspective.
It's I mean this is like I mean So has okay, so get back to Acolyte. So has something to work with. So she is clearly more emotional than other Jedi. So that's basically the thing. She got informed. It's like
Yeah, so Osha's in his holding cell, which we learned that the Jedi are not even in charge of.
Which is like, why?
It's in a ship controlled by droids.
Why didn't Yor just bring her back to Coruscant himself?
He even says that.
Fuck. That's just gaslighting at this point. So she got by the way there's only like one droid on
this alien on the behind her has like the power to shut down droids with his mouth or something like that.
I was like, wait, why the fuck is he on the ship?
No, it's like, yeah, when your transport is droids, your transport are droids, and that particular prisoner is there because they have a parasite that keeps the crazy ones. So that the one directly behind her here, like, he has like a parasite over his mouth that keeps him like still.
Yeah.
So they give it to the crazier ones so that they don't, disturb the peace or anything like that. Fair, I guess. But then when it comes to the alien with the droid disabler in his mouth, it's like you probably should keep him with human resistance and not in a droid run ship only. That's really weird.
Or do it or put it on Osha because you still expect her to know the Force. I mean that's it's fun.
Yeah, so these droids they're basically the ones that are driving the ship essentially. So so yeah, the alien like shuts those down.
Yeah.
And then that's what causes the riot to happen. All the aliens like escape in pods.
So this is the dumbest scene of
there's
the
only
show.
one.
This is the dumbest scene of the end. Yeah, this is the dumbest scene of the entire episode. By the way, it's like fuck.
Yeah. Which is like 2/3 in, so it's not the finale at least.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah, this guy has a long tongue that can drag a droid out too.
He should also be poisoned. So I don't know what is his. Well, I don't know why did they not put the poison thing in his mouth as well.
The parasite, yeah, they said the parasite is only for crazy people. So I guess this one is just not crazy enough to require it. But then he has like a power, a tongue, and then at that point it's like, why have a bunch of bars, like barred cages, and use a different kind of thing? And then this whole thing is like, I mean, I guess that maybe there's like a whole technology thing difference because it's set in the past. But if that's the case, then I have no idea what the limitations would be in that sense. So yeah, I'm not going to use that as an argument.
It's like at least he just put the poison on his mouth. So, and then it's like,
and then everybody's going. Osha decides not to go because she didn't want to go because she didn't want to. She was the goody too. She was kind of saying like, I don't want to do a prison break with you guys. So it's like, all right, then you can just stay there, and then we can escape like we want to. And they escape. Then OSHA, she's trying to figure out what to do.
This bullshit happens.
Yeah. So
Uh,
yeah, she's trying to reach for her droid.
which is like, why did they keep the droid thing here? Why did they keep all her equipment in just near this prison cell? Shouldn't they just confiscate all your equipment already?
Yeah, that's kind of my other thing too. It's like when it comes to this entire premise, it's like because the problem is like Yord already gaslit himself with the whole like, yeah, I should have took her with me when I was coming back. It's like because like, yeah, she's a Jedi. She's different from or she was a Jedi, so she's different from your prisoners that are prisoners. So I feel like you should have a different type of method in terms of transporting her from place to place. So it's kind of weird how that was not the case.
And of course, yeah. Like, she just grab it. The droid, fuck me, they have a live droid, and so she's safe. And this is like the only moment I like. It's like,
she's trying to help the parasite guy so that he doesn't crash down the ship. Yeah,
she's like,
that's definitely. I like that as well.
If only they keep it. Yeah, if only they keep it consistent. Fuck it.
Yeah, and then he's like, I'm just getting out of here. So he goes into the other escape pod without her. And then it makes sense. Yeah, I liked this part, but I still think like the premise of how we got to this point is just kind of the ridiculous thing. Why is she in this prison cell in a droid contained thing only when the only thing that could disable the droids is somebody who has a droid disabler in his mouth? That's just none of that makes sense.
No, pilot the ship, dipshit.
It's
like, no, you should try. I'm sorry. No, I was like, well, this is her plan.
It's just brace for impact.
I was like, no, you should be dead. You're falling from space, dipshit. Which is like, oh, okay. I'll say you just try to pilot the ship, but whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's braced for impact in that sense, like how she's strapping herself in so that she doesn't fly out all over the place.
But
I guess there's a logic there.
But no, yeah, she's dead.
I mean, like, but look at how this crash happened. It's not that crazy, like, or at least like, it really isn't that crazy from the angle that it's going down. It's not that crazy how it lands.
But
like, this kind of looks like a proper descent in a way. It's just that the ship breaks off into pieces.
But at the same time, you remember, it's like there's no pilot. You just how do I describe it? You just like stable as much as possible. It's a dead crash landing. Like
but it also doesn't nosedive, which I guess is the main problem. It doesn't nosedive.
Somehow
the way that it crashes is more like a normal plane landing, but it just breaks off because it's not a proper landing.
No, to be honest, it should be smashed into a million pieces. If I'm being honest,
I don't think you're really getting what I'm saying. It's like I'm saying like the problem is more on how it's angled down, in terms of like that's the problem. It lands like it's as if it's going to land like a normal plane, but like it should probably be nose diving like straight from the nose of the ship downwards, like in a 90-degree angle sort of thing.
Yeah,
or maybe a bit of angling there. So that's what makes it. Yeah, it's like so the way it falls is just like unrealistic.
Yeah, it's like, and to be honest, it's like it's also from space, so it's like it's like the ship should be smashed into pieces, like a million pieces instead of just like, oh, that's
Yeah, I'm saying like this type of landing can be survivable if this is how the plane, because it feels like somebody's leveling the plane, it's just crashing.
But we know
Like,
that's not the case.
but that's not the case, and that's the problem. Is what I'm saying.
To be honest, the
So,
fix
like,
is just they should just have her just control the plane as much as possible if they really want to do this.
yeah, and
Uh,
I don't even know if the problem was because it's a droid centric thing that it doesn't require a person to do it. But then at that point, it's like, why can't you try to turn the droids back on? I don't even know if you could do that, but you didn't try to do that either. So
so
that's
oh
yeah. Then this but yeah, that
so
brings us to our gosh, we need to really
it's
move
like
on.
this is like one of those fuck, I hope there's more. It's like there's something to work on and they just didn't do anything to it. So Padawan. So Jackie, the name. Fuck, I hate the name.
Played by Daphne Keane,
X23.
X-23.
So she has like master. I was like, please permission to let me speak. Basically, she's like, he likes he basically she doesn't want to disrespect Soul.
Mm-hmm.
It's like stuff. It's like, okay, there's something to this. She wants to respect him, and she wants to prove that she will be a good Padawan to him. There's something, it's like, but they do nothing at the end. So it's like they could have an arc about Jackie learning to be a lot more confident, but oh well.
She's not even like she's pretty confident for the most part. I mean, like a lot of it just comes down to
It's like
like
I
I wouldn't say she's like scared of anything. She seems pretty. I mean, what she does in episode 5 is like probably the most badass thing that happens for someone her age. So it's like
no, I'm just saying she should have an arc. There should be some. They're setting up something here. It's like, oh fuck, maybe she has confident issues. Maybe she just she has trust issues.
I just don't think confidence issues is what I got out of her.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's a suggestion. Maybe she could have learned over the show, but beyond this, it's just like, oh, they did nothing after this point.
And I kind of get why, considering like how she ends up in episode 5, but we'll get to that. But so I can understand like not, but then at that point, I just want you to make her. So we do need to get a move on in the sense like we're still on episode 1 is the first hour. But essentially my thing about so when you know a character is going to die, because that's what we're kind of alluding to. So a character is going to die, then the thing that you should probably do is put a lot of stock into the character to make you care about when the character dies. So I can understand not going through an arc, quote unquote, in that sense. Because I mean, let's be honest, I did not predict Jackie was going to die. I mean, did you?
No.
Yeah. So like, I thought for that. I mean, then obviously like you have a reception from people that people actually like episode 5 in that regard. Like, damn, I did not expect like Jackie and Yord to die, and they did. Which is honestly, I kind of commend them for the balls on that, because like honestly, because like sometimes you just expect
they're not
to not exist.
Yeah, it's like but if only there are characters.
I mean, I could still say things about Jackie.
I mean, I can still say that, but it's not something I would say it's deep. It's just like, okay. And then we got to, oh fuck me. It's like, here's the thing. Like for me, Yord, Soul, and Jackie has potential in like episode 1, but they dropped that. It's like after like 2 episodes in. It's like fuck.
So this is my. I mean, we'll get to that eventually. My bigger comment was more on in this particular scene is like they've already caught the guys who escaped from the escape pods shortly after, and then they even have time to like the ship crashed, but Orsha never came out, or she never ended up with these guys. It's like one is like, damn, the Jedi Council already caught the prison escapees like right away. Okay, because that makes sense. And they're on Coruscant now too. That makes
It's
a
like,
lot of. Now it's like it makes your universe more smaller,
and
which has been a problem in all the Disney Star Wars shows. Actually,
and and the thing is,
at
why
least they
didn't
haven't
any?
brought back
Yeah,
Tatooine, so there's that.
yeah. Here's the thing though, why didn't anyone check the crash site already if they found the prisoners?
Covert mission, which is what they're talking about now.
It's like fuck that shit. It's like you. It's like fuck that. Just you should check the crash site to see is there any survivors instead of just like someone escaped. It's like dude, check who didn't. There should be some people who hasn't escaped.
This whole quiet the mind to make them say what he wants to hear, that kind of thing. So, because like this prisoner, the crazy one that they had to put a parasite on his mouth, he's saying that she tried to save me, but I left her behind anyway. That kind of thing. So it's like it kind of works like it's kind of like a truth serum in a sense. Like he's probably saying it because like he's under the force, but he like, or it's like the loss of truth thing. Would you call yourself a terrorist if you're a terrorist wearing the lasso of truth? Yeah, I'm a terrorist. Like, is that really how they would say that?
No.
Like, yeah, it's kind of it's kind of like that kind of thing. That's kind of what I got out of with this when he puts the force on this crazy guy, and he just like, yeah, she tried to save me, but I betrayed her. I mean, I guess that's a way to look at it.
So yep, and so why didn't for Nash? So my other problem is like, why didn't for Nash did that? Why didn't any Jedi did that already? Yeah, I was like, or just like for Nash arrived at this before Soul was like, oh fuck, mind control them, like literally just do the mind control triggers like, and they will just immediately realize, oh shit, someone's on the someone didn't escape the ship, so check the crash site. Fuck.
So this entire thing kind of relies too on like ethically, I don't want that to be easy. Like do you want the Jedi to just like? I'm not saying it to you directly. I'm just saying like why is it this easy to like mind control somebody and like to have them tell the truth as a Jedi? Like would you is that some like obviously that's a crossing a boundary. I don't know. It's like so I find like oh it's like let's just do it without like a warrant or like without like some kind of like the intention that like they're allowed to do that via like that kind of thing. So it's like I don't know when everything when a lot when some of the suggestions for the Jedi to do things sounds like really unethical, and then they do it. It's like oh it's unethical, but like you did it. So it's like I don't know that makes things a lot difficult to believe. Like okay, so if you don't have a problem with doing this, then why is it a problem when you do it the next time and that kind of thing? I would honestly be completely fine with it, like if they don't read minds unless they have a warrant or like they have a reasoning that they have to do it and there's no other option because like yeah because I feel like reading a mind would be unethical as a Jedi, but they do it all the time. Now I don't know what to believe, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and also by the way, you just said maybe 100 years they don't have the shield technology. They have the shield technology. It's right here.
Oh, you mean the prison cells?
Yeah, this one. It's like okay, you could just put this in the bars instead of the bars.
Right. All right, on the ship, right? Yeah. And then I mean they could still like kind of bypass it because of the droid mouth guy. But then that question is like, can he disable these shields? I don't know.
Maybe, to be honest, if they can disable, if the droid can disable the shields, it's like, fuck it, just hack the entire ship. You could just do hacking at that point.
Yeah. So brings us back to Osha. She's down on the ground. She sees a vision of her younger sister. Yeah.
By the way, this is not explained at all. Just like Force vision because Force Awakens. Remember that Force trip shit? Not explained.
Yeah.
Moved on.
It's
Fuck
kind of
it.
like it kind of reminded me of episode 5 as well, the Luke Skywalker in the forest thing, but which I don't know if it was a reference to that. But then again, they said they didn't watch any other Star Wars movies, so I wouldn't know.
To be honest, I think they watched the sequel. So oh well, that's and I believe the sequels are the only thing they watched.
But yeah, Soul takes Jackie and Yord to go and find. You got your shirtless man stuff. You're not gonna have equality for the women, so
sad.
we're not surprised on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, Osha goes out. She finds. She has a conversation with her sister, which is gonna get weird because we learned that she actually isn't talking to her sister, or the sisters don't know that they're alive. That's the thing.
Yeah. So
the Osha does not know that May is alive, but May, younger May, is like telling younger May is telling Osha that like, yeah, hi, Semantic Dragon.
Hi. Uh-oh. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So yeah, younger May is telling Osha that she killed like, I'm gonna kill them all.
Which is
what classic villain line.
Which is like, wait, if you skip to episode 2, you just realize, oh, May doesn't even know Osha is alive. So it's like, what the fuck is this vision?
And May doesn't know that Osha's alive. So this is like, just for clarity, this is the scene where Osha does learn that May is alive, but then it's weird because May doesn't know that Osha's alive, which is the only way that could have made it work. Is like if May like assumed that if May knew that Osha was alive, then maybe this whole forced vision thing could, I don't know, the whole dyad, the dyad stuff with Rise of Skywalker, where they connect through the Force in that sense. Which that's kind of what it gave me the vibes of it initially. But then episode 2 confirms that May had no idea that Osha was alive. And then it's like, okay, then I don't know how this happened in the first place.
I don't know. The Force has its mind of its own, blah blah blah. I guess.
Yeah. So the Jedi team, they go and find her. I mean, I think there was like one meaningful conversation from Jackie to Soul.
I don't know. It's basically just Soul exposition dump. It's like
explaining about the sister, the twin sister.
Yeah, so one died in the fire. It's only saved one of them. It's like,
yeah.
And she killed everyone in fire. Fuck it. And also, by the way, Osha said May killed everyone in a fire in the previous scene. So remember that.
Like meaning their family.
Right? Yeah, her mother's.
Yep. Osha's like,
by the way, Osha should be freezed to death here. So fuck it. Yeah, Osha should be freezed to death. She's been sleeping here for hours. It's like at least hours. So
I don't know. She's a witch, I guess. Maybe there's some leeway. I don't know.
I don't. It's like, to be honest, it's like I don't really. It's like, this is so stupid. And so this is Osha, by the way. Will she let herself be safe or killed herself? I guess.
So that's what it looks like, and I think that, so the way they frame it is kind of funny, not shit that get clipped out of context. What I mean is, like, I don't think Osha was trying to off herself.